So एक psychiatric residency program है and एक family medicine. And if आप दूसरे वो Caribbean schools के बारे में बात करोगे, क्या दूसरे UK schools के बारे में बात करोगे, उन लोगों के पास maybe क्या कहते हैं rotational privileges होते हैं, but affiliations नहीं होते हैं. मतलब जैसे आप जाओगे like जब I'm going to speak out of turn here. Like Delhi, let's say University Delhi के पास एक medical school होता है, you know. So जो उनके अस्पताल, they have their own hospital. Like university, let's just say, you know. So then जो उनके बच्चे होते हैं, they go to that hospital to do rotations and to, you know, residency or paid internship.
Yes. So, I'll add a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Badia.
Oh, so yeah, so I know there's a lot of other schools that rotate. There's actually a shortage of clinical rotations in the US right now in hospitals. But what जो हमारा hospital, Pontiac General Hospital है, वो St. Martin's को बच्चे को पहले देंगे, फिर दूसरे स्कूल के स्टूडेंट को देखेंगे. So you know उनका जो rotation हैगा वो guaranteed हैगा करने के लिए.
How many
Mr. Excuse me, Dr. Rajesh, I can't hear you. One more time.
How many bedded hospitals? All general hospitals or specialty hospitals?
So US में technically ये US system है. There's Dr. Bhatia, please correct me if I'm incorrect on this. There's private and public hospitals. पहले ये classification होती है. फिर होती है mental hospital क्या general hospital. हमारा hospitals, the ones that we're affiliated with, are all general hospitals. So आपको सारे patients दिखते हैं, like you know, surgery patients, internal medicine जो आते हैं, you know, कुछ पेट के लिए problem है, दिल का problem है, lungs के problem है, हम ये सब देखते हैं. And हमारे पास psychiatric component भी है, so वो भी patients दिखते हैं. So we're that way. I think India में specialization भी होता है ना, like heart hospital कहते हैं, ये hospital ऐसे चलता नहीं है US में. लोग कहते हैं like I can be a stroke center. मतलब मैं stroke patients देखता हूँ, but ये सारे अस्पताल देखते हैं. This is just a marketing tool that the local hospitals in America use.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
No problem.
Hello. Sir, my question is like that. Do you really get an interaction or the treatment to do with the patients, or you only do the observership over there?
For the students, in our hospital, हमारे जो student हैं, they do everything from you know, they're down to blood pressure to everything. Like even although sometimes we don't, because of legal issues, they can't type in the note. But I've asked them to, like, you know, write the progress note for every patient they watch. You know, they're getting full interaction with the patients, like every physical exam. And sometimes they're even practicing like blood draws, like, you know, ABGs, everything. You know, they're a full hands-on experience, the students that they get.
मैं एक चीज बताऊंगा सर, that लोग students एक कभी-कभी गाली बोलने लगते हैं because थकायत हो जाती है, पर वो सब कुछ करते हैं. Incision drainage मतलब वो जो भी infection होता है वो भी skin से काटते हैं, stitching भी कर लेते हैं, ये सब काम हो जाता है. मैंने अपने खुद ही मेरे 3rd year में मैंने chest tube डाली, which आप किसी और से बात करोगे, that's a very rare occasion to happen. मैंने, you know, chest tubes डाले, swabs करे. I think Dr. Bhatia, you probably did a lot of swabs and INDs yourself when you're doing, yeah. So ये common चीज होती है. In surgery भी करते हो. मैंने खुद ही, I think my 3rd year, 2nd way, halfway through, मैंने laparoscopic surgery भी करी है. So जब भी वो gall bladder निकालते हैं surgery के अंदर, मतलब मैं देखा नहीं था, मैंने देखा, फिर उसने मुझे कराया, फिर stitching भी कराई. So I think हमारी बहुत unique situation है that because हम जहाँ पर हैं, छोटा अस्पताल, and you know, comparatively to, you know, जो बहुत बड़े US में major cities में, हमारी access हमारे students को at least hands-on training में किसी से argue करूँगा. There's just no way. हमारे students without a doubt get the most hands-on. Versus किसी और school में जाओ, वहाँ पर, you know, 200 बच्चे rotate कर रहे हैं, वो लोग सब लड़ रहे हैं note लिखने के लिए. हमारे वहाँ note लिखते हैं, blood pressure लेते हैं, वो procedures करते हैं, EKGs करते हैं, for diagnostic भी कराते हैं. They're literally part of the medical team. They're not just sitting on the sideline and उनको एक दो चीज बताओ. They are honestly involved in decisions and bringing information. And you can ask any bacha here and they'll tell you, हाँ हमको बहुत सिखाते हैं hands-on.
Yes, thank you very much. And again, I request everybody, if you are willing to ask the question, please put on your video so that
Hello.
it shows like we can see you, and yes, we can communicate with each other. Please put
Hello.
on your video and then ask the question.
सर सोहम को कुछ
Hello.
पूछना है. सोहम, please go ahead. सोहम,
Yeah.
पूछो आप.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions on clinical postings. Clinical postings weekly कितने होते हैं हमारे?
I'm sorry, clinical postings matlab how many times you go to the hospital?
Yeah.
मतलब तुम अस्पताल कितने बार जा रहे हो per week में?
हाँ.
Okay, सच बताता हूँ, मैं सच बताता हूँ. जो rotation में depends on rotation, कौन सा rotation है. If आप surgery में हो, आप 4 दिन, maybe 5 दिन जाओगे, right? If आप med floor में कर रहे हो, usually Dr. Bhatia, I think the kids are what, 5 or 6 right now on med surge.
Yeah, we have about 5, and then there's also the Nova students too. And then yeah.
So 5 दिन अस्पताल के अंदर, and then when you're in the hospital, तुम बस बैठ रहे नहीं हो, you're actually doing stuff. So traditionally, मैं बताऊं traditionally, US में जो बच्चे rotations करते हैं, वो बैठते हैं, observerships कहते हैं, observe करते रहते हैं. मतलब वो बात नहीं करते हैं, खाली सुनते रहते हैं. हमारे वहाँ you're actually patient के साथ छू रहे हो, patient के साथ काम कर रहे हो, questions ले रहे हो, दवाई दे रहे हो कभी-कभी. Again, जो भी experience आप बनाओगे, there's a level of expectation. मतलब जैसे आपको हम जब भी आप train करोगे, there are a certain amount of things you have to be able to do. मतलब blood pressure लेना, incision को कैसे करते हैं, wound को कैसे manage करते हैं. It's a छोटी चीज, but it actually adds up to a very big thing. For
Okay.
overall.
और hospitals में patient load कैसा होता है US में?
Well, India में देखो, India में होता है like 100-200 per med floor, right? Like बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, depending on the अस्पताल का size. Like if Apollo जाओगे, that's a lot of patients, right? But हमारे वहाँ med surge में what on average क्या 10? I mean, would you say 10? You say on 10 per day?
10-15,
so
yeah.
Yeah, what med surge? If आप हमारी emergency care करोगे, क्या urgent care 30 to 50. You know, like, it really depends. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. मतलब like कभी like there'll be 3-4 दिन that खाली 8 patient आएंगे, क्या 10 patient आएंगे, फिर एक दिन 50 patients आएंगे, क्या 60. It's just again that's emergency medicine. हमें पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. फिर हमारे psych floors में, Dr. Bhatia, how many do we have?
Right, I think 75, like above, yeah.
So हमारे, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I said they're building more floors too, but there's about 75 psych patients right now.
So
okay.
In the hospital, so log at one time, like honestly, 100 people. Yeah,
and
being taken care of.
Yeah, and from which year are you going to start our clinical postings?
Okay, so from my understanding is not from my understanding, I'll tell you from my experience. That's the best way to do it, right? From my experience is you do your first 2 years, your lecture years or your preclinical years on the island, and then you come to the hospital. But the caveat is we actually make the students do the hospital stuff in their second year on the island itself. So you're learning clinical skills. So stethoscope kaise use karte hain, baat kaise karte hain, patient, heart examination, lung examination, basic neurological examination. Ye sab jo, so jab aap अस्पताल में आओगे, आप बेवकूफ नहीं देखते हो, आपको कुछ आना चाहिए है, so basics वो सिखाएंगे. So पहले 2 साल में होता है. I remember मैं आयरन में visit करा था 2018 में, and हमने एक fair करा था, public health fair. So सारे patients का blood pressure, glucose check करा था, height, weight, ये सब for about, I think मैं एक दिन गया था बस, because मैं late आया था island में, and I did बच्चों लोगों के साथ. It wasn't me, it was the students doing it. It was about, I think 400 something in one day, and they do this thing every other week or at least once a month before COVID. Of COVID ho gaya, I think they're going to change that, but they're affiliated with the Red Cross on the island, so you're going to learn that. And then the St. Elizabeth's Hospital, I believe, I think it's Dr. Bhatt, it's still called St. Elizabeth's on the island. Yeah, and that's the biggest hospital in the Caribbean, like by square footage, and one of the most heavily funded. So it's a very nice hospital, and you go there and you can help with the patient load there as well. But yes, that's again, ये more advanced बच्चे होते हैं जो लोग grades जो अच्छे स्कूल में अच्छे कर रहे हैं, जो they show up, जो पढ़ रहे हैं.
Yeah. My next
Go ahead.
question would be, do you get paid during your rotations?
Dr. Bhatt, do you get fed?
Sorry, do you get paid during your
No, no,
rotations?
no. Rotations are not paid. Once you start your residency, then it is you will get stipend. Rotation is a part of your program, so it is not paid.
Okay. And during our rotation, on what visa status are we on?
Yeah. For rotations, you will get B1, B2 visa for the clinical rotations. And the visa specify that the visa is issued for the clinical rotations at and Pontiac General Hospital or Gasburg Cottage Hospital. Okay.
Okay. And my last question would be, what is your current profession? Are you a primary care doctor, or you can choose specialization, example, orthopedic or dermatology?
So orthopedic and dermatology, you can choose. It depends on your scores. It depends on the it depends on the person itself. So, I mean, orthopedic surgery, I think you need to be the best in top scores in the country basically to get in. So, you know, that's up to you. And also it's very time draining. I mean, they're working 24 hours at, you know, I don't even want that schedule. Like this, I'm in family medicine, and then from family medicine, there's also a lot of fellowships available too. It's you can go on to pain medicine, you can go on to geriatrics, you know, hospice and palliative care. So that's what I want to do, and this is what I really enjoy doing. And it's what you want to specialize. It depends on you, how hard you want to work, and how hard and what your grades are and everything. And like, you know, even hamare, even like, for example, some of our residents, like they have really high scores. They put primary care mein aage ke hamare saath, right? So it doesn't matter, wo aapki marji hai. But if you want dermatology and orthopedics, then you have to be the top of the country, you know?
Yeah. So many a classmate, she just finished doing general surgery residency. So she's finishing that up, and then she wants to do she said neuro, but I don't know. Neuro is another 8 saal residency. It's 12 years, but that's up to her. But like Dr. Bhatia keh raha tha, like I plan to do emergency medicine, which as a family medicine physician, I can do a fellowship into. Or like you might want to do sports medicine, which is orthopedic without the surgery component. So that's another thing I'm interested in. So it depends on तुम्हारा score क्या है and तुम क्या करना चाहते हो. Like if आप cardiologist बनना चाहते हो, क्या neurologist बनना चाहते हो. In the US, making a US system में, you can, after आप USMLE step 1, step 2 लेके फिर depending on the scores, this is completely on you. मेरा एक दूसरा class batchmate वो भी family medicine कर रहा है. मेरा third batchmate, I think एक neurology में चले गया. मेरा fourth batchmate वो IM कर रहा है, and वो करना चाह रहा है gastroenterology, because अब भी बहुत पैसा मिलता है उसके लिए. So वो सोच रहा है मैं वो scopes करता रहूँगा. So that's what उसकी interest है. मुझे इतनी मजा नहीं आता है लोगों के पेट में देखना. So मैं general medicine करना चाहता हूँ. More, you know, बच्चे तक, you know, in like geriatric मतलब, you know, जो लोग थोड़ा से old age का मदद करना. So
okay, my next question would be, are there any exams that we have to give to qualify our clinical rotation successfully?
Um,
I believe now Dr. Bhatia would be more up to date on this. I think you have to clear your step 1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I think that's what you have to clear your step 1 exam, and that sort of makes sense too. I mean, you don't want people that don't know medicine or they haven't passed any exams to be in the hospital and taking care of our patients, right? So I think that's one of the requirements. You have to pass USMLE step 1, and then, you know, that'll benefit you too. You'll know more about medicine, and you'll know more about what you're doing in the hospital too.
Yeah, sure. And do we have to fund your own living expenses while we are on clinical rotation program, or is it covered under the tuition fees?
from my understanding, there's a package. There's a package or something. This is a better question for somebody. For
yeah, for clinical rotations. Yeah, see what happened. The tuition fee is the package that is $55,600 for entire program. All right. Living cost is not included in this package. All right. So living cost is different, like your accommodation, food, traveling, that is not included. All right. For that 4650, you need to pay separately to the university. In first 2.5 years, it includes your accommodation, then two meals like lunch and dinner, and Wi-Fi facility, all the utilities. Whenever you go to the Pontac, that time you don't need to pay this 4650, but yes, there is a housing, and I think 350 per month. That is $350 per month is accommodation cost. You need to pay to the hospital directly.
Okay.
And there is a, like, say, if you are willing to stay out of the campus, so that facility is also available. You can choose any house out of campus and you can stay there. All right.
All right. Post-clinical rotation, how long does it take to get a residency? How many years did it take for you?
It depends on your score. I took my step and then I already interviewed and I was waiting for my last step. So mine was very fast, actually. I think Dr. Bhatia, same thing. Again, that's not a question that you want to ask today because of COVID, itna sab kuch, push back ho gaya time-wise. Jo US ke bachche bhi hain, un logon ko problem ho rahi thi because again, they don't have an affiliated link. Because hamare school ke paas PGH hota hai, hamara cheez thoda sa aur fast, in my opinion, fast. Mera residency already ho gaya. I'm just waiting to get my paperwork done from the state so I can practice without an issue. So mera bahut jaldi se chala. I mean, comparatively, to my other friends. And then just say a quick fact on the housing situation. Sorry, 1 second on housing. I've been to the new campus and jab bhi wahan pe wo bachche, you want to sort of live on campus. You're studying about, tum pure din school mein baith rahe ho, phir ghar jaane ka drama and all that stuff, it's not worth it. Dekho, class ke bahar niklo, upar jao, कमरे में नहाओ धो जो करना है कुछ खाओ बैठ के फिर शुरू कर लो पढ़ना ये तुम्हारा सच बता रहा हूँ ये आपका लाइफस्टाइल है दिस इज नॉट अ जब भी मर्जी ये काम पढ़ना जब भी मर्जी ये नहीं चलता है एंड इट नहीं चलेगा you're wasting not only तुम्हारा time but your parents' time and उनके hopes and dreams. If आपको डॉक्टर बनना है you find the easiest thing and to remove all the other obstacles you just focus on the books. Your step 1, your USMLE step 1 score, your USMLE step 2 score. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you're from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, Japan. That's all that matters is that, and then we'll teach you everything else, the personality, the clinical skills. Again, if I PGH now in the next 3 years, I'll see you there. So I'll help you with that at least.
So Soham, thank you. So हमारे साथ Dr. Nilesh Gattani जी हैं. Nilesh sir, you can please go ahead.
Yeah.
So मैं इसके बाद में आपको
I wanted to ask one question. The students who are doing a post-graduation after clearing a USMLE from your college and the students who are doing a post-graduation in America itself after doing a graduation in America, is there any difference in between both images like that over there? Or both of the peoples are doing the same post-graduation and the same authentication is getting to both of the students?
मैं समझ नहीं आ रहा आप सॉरी मे बी हिंदी में समझ आएगा ऑथेंटिकेशन मतलब उनके जो वो क्लिनिकल्स कर पा रहे हैं आप क्या पूछ रहे हो
I'll make you understand. You are done graduation from St. Martin's University and you are cleared at USMLE and you are doing a post-graduation in America. Understood? The another person is doing a graduation from the America and he's doing a post-graduation also over there. Is it any difference in between the post-graduation of both of the students?
Okay, so आप पूछ रहे हो Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Bhatia. No, this is you. This is you.
Okay. So in America, everything is accredited. वो हमारी जो ACGME होती है ना, everything is accredited from them. So as long as the program is ACGME accredited, it's the exact same. There's no other programs like वो सब कुछ regulated है. There's no difference between what the American students doing and what our students doing. It's the exact same thing.
The second question is, sir, the students who has done the graduation from your university, if they doesn't qualify for USMLE, what is the future for them?
So okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't know. So you go ahead.
So I mean, there's still, what do you mean they don't qualify? So did they not pass their exams, or if they pass their exams, they're qualified, then they keep trying. You know, you gotta keep trying every year.
Some of the patient, it's any in a case of 1% or 2%, if some patients couldn't, some student couldn't qualify the USMLE, then what is the future of that student as far as doing a graduation from your?
Yes, sir. I will answer this question. Actually, see, basically this program is made for the US. All right.
Okay.
So from first semester only, students are prepared for the USMLE step 1. All right.
Okay.
The pattern of the exam is same like USMLE pattern. The
Okay.
passing marks are 70 as USMLE required. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
from day 1, we start preparing students for the USMLE. All right. And before going for the USMLE, there is one exam NBME student need to qualify. All right. So if they are scoring 70% in NBME, then definitely they can crack USMLE step 1 in first attempt only. In worst scenario, if student is not willing to go for the USMLE, all right, then they can come back to India. They can write the FMG examination, foreign medical graduate examination, and they can practice in India as a doctor.
Apart from India, how many countries are there who is having this qualification has been granted as an MBBS in all over the world?
Sir, if the student completed USMLE and if he become a registered physician in US, then his qualification accepted in US, in Canada, in Holland, all right, all these countries.
Okay.
Okay, including India.
Okay, but just doing a graduation at St. Martin University, and if we want to start our own practice, which of the countries are available where we can directly go and do a practice?
Sir. See, as a doctor, you need registration in that particular country to practice as a physician. All right. So if you crack your FMG examination in India, you can practice in India because you will get registration in India. If you are willing to go to New Zealand and practice there, then NZREX exam you have to crack. All right. So for all the countries, there is a different exam student need to give. Again, the rotations, American rotation is acceptable worldwide.
Okay.
If the person is doing rotation in India, which is not acceptable in America. All right. So this is the difference.
Understood.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't know anybody here. I have no stake, financial or anything about what anybody decides, but I'm gonna be very honest and blunt on a few things. If you want, I know there's mostly parents because maybe देसी हूँ, मेरे माँ बाप भी देसी हैं, so मुझे समझ आता है आप लोग क्या चाहते हो आप लोगों के बच्चों के लिए, बच्ची लोगों के लिए, and जो मेरे माँ बाप मेरे लिए चाहते थे, वो चाहते थे, मैं US में born था, मैं US में grow up करा, so मेरे लिए US में practice करने के लिए number 1 था, मैं US में डॉक्टर बनूंगा, फिर वापस थोड़े साल के बाद मैं इंडिया वापस जा पाऊंगा, वहां पर मैं मेडिसिन प्रैक्टिस कर पाऊंगा, ये मेरा सपना है, सपना होपफुली कर पाऊंगा. जब भी आप इस स्कूल में आओगे, इफ आप US ट्रैक में काम कर लोगे, US का सब कर लोगे, फिर पूरी दुनिया खुल जाएगी. जब मैं यहाँ पर रेजिडेंसी खत्म कर लूंगा, जहां पर मुझे प्रैक्टिस करना है माइनस आई बिलीव UK, वहां पर मुझे P लैब्स देने पड़ेंगे, मैं एक प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ. सो इफ आप सेंट मार्टिन्स में आना चाहते हो, ये आपका ट्रैक होना चाहिए. मेरा बच्चा इवन इफ वो बेस्ट स्टूडेंट नहीं है, देखो सच बताता हूँ, कोई स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं जिनको थोड़ी सी वीकनेस होती है, बट अगेन नॉट ओनली खुद ही को सपोर्ट करना है, बट आप माँ बाप का सपोर्ट, जैसे आप लोग ये रिसर्च कर रहे हो, देख रहे हो, आप विद योर पुश वो लोग बन पाएंगे डॉक्टर्स. सो ये सेल्फ है, एंड देन थोड़ा से पूरा फैमिली मदद करना पड़ेगा, बट हो जाता है, हो जाएगा.
What is the weather condition for the St. Martin's throughout the year?
वेदर अच्छा है, कुर्सा में धूप रहती है, बारिश, आई थिंक एक मानसून सीजन होता है, बट इंडिया जैसे मानसून नहीं होता है, जैसे वहां पर फ्लडिंग नहीं होती है, बिल्कुल बस बारिश गिरती रहती है. आई थिंक maybe what 3 weeks, Doctor, do you remember, was it 3 weeks or
3-4 weeks? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and temperature is from 25 to 27 throughout the year.
Okay.
मौसम अच्छा होता है वहाँ पर वहाँ पर एक बड़ी बड़ी चिपकली भी दिखती हैं वो वेजिटेरियन होती हैं so कोई टेंशन नहीं होता खाली फल खाते रहती हैं iguanas so वो बहुत दिखते रहती हैं.
Thank you. Somaya Ajmera, raise the hand.
Soumya, please go ahead.
I have a question. Sorry. I have a question that since you do your MD and clinical rotation from Michigan, so is it valid in all of the 50 states?
Yes.
Yes, it's valid. Yeah.
Okay. And
So
about the residency programs, so I've heard that the people who have done their MD from the US, they get preference when they apply for residency than from these Caribbean islands, which are not necessarily in the US. So
That's true to some extent, but it depends on what your score is, right? So in my class, I know in PJ's class, everybody's matched. So there's kids in internal medicine, general surgery, and they studied hard. They studied really hard and they got in. So see, the thing with medicine is compared to other professionalisms, other practice like lawyer, accounting, thing with medicine is it's on you, right? How good of a doctor are you? How much did you study? And how much did you work, how hard you worked? So, you know, like I said, some of our St. Martinez students, we have American students rotating at our hospital, and they're our St. Martinez students, like some of our attending doctors are more impressed with our St. Martinez students than with the American students. Okay. So, you know, because one or two of our students are working really hard. You know, they're here from 6 to 7 a.m. and then they go home. These are students. Then they go home. They're studying till midnight or 1 a.m. Then they come in the morning, and then, you know, like I wish I could do it, but I'm working till midnight. You know, I can't even read or study anything. I come home, I'm tired, I go to sleep, and then but that they're working that hard. The American students are not working that hard. So it depends on the person. It depends on the person.
It's Desi mindset. I'll say it again. Immigrant Desi mindset. I mean, you could tell. I'm lazy compared to some of my Desi colleagues because they will outwork me, but my training's good enough to where it makes up that gap a little bit. But you trust me, if you decide I'm going to be a doctor, St. Martinez will give you all the tools you need to become a doctor. That's bar none. It will not hinder you in any way. It will not. But it has to be a self-fulfilling. It has to be, I want to do this, not because, oh, I'm going to go to US, make a lot of money, and then मैं निकल जाऊंगी. No, ये नहीं चलेगा. I promise you. There are easier ways to make more money. कहते ना, और आसान जगह होता है पैसा बनाने के लिए. पर पैसे क्या कर रहे हो? कुछ और करो. माँ बाप का पैसे बचा दो, अपना mental fortitude बचा दो, कुछ और करो. But if आपको डॉक्टर बनना है, if मुझे बचपन से मुझे डॉक्टर बनना है, मैं आज क्या कल मैं डॉक्टर की तरफ से बनूंगी, क्या बनूंगा, फिर करो. Honestly.
All right. And what about the residency programs? Are there in Pontiac hospitals? Are there any residency programs in Pontiac?
Yes. So PGH has family medicine and psychiatry, and I believe they're expanding too. They might have an internal medicine and later on down the year. Like they just started a psychiatry program 2 years ago, and it's doing really well. So yeah, they have two residency programs right now.
Okay. And what about the visa? Like I'm from India, so I have to, have there been any problems with visa or anything?
That you have to ask.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the visa. There is no any problem. You will get visa. 100%. Not to worry. All right. All our students are getting visa.
So
even with COVID, there's students that rotate underneath me. Not one of them have had an issue coming back in or leaving. Nothing like that. Because I think I personally enjoy it. It's very strict. So the school will make sure that, okay, you have the visa, you're in, and you're out before there can be any problems. So there have been no issues so far that I've seen. I've had I've had about 30, 40 Indian students underneath me, you know, in my urgent care, when I was working in the urgent care and all that stuff. So no problems there.
And in some colleges in these Caribbean islands only, they have to do 2 years of pre-med. So yes. After 12, so how are they able to get over the 2 years of pre-med and continue with only 4 years? for 5 years?
I'm not. That's not a question I could answer for us.
Actually, my question is that I mean, is there any problem in recognition or anything because we are not doing the 2 years of pre-med or anything?
No,
No.
you just need college credit hours, which you get when you do classes like medical terminology and other things that are college accredited hours during your our preclinical years. But I think somebody else might be more specific to that answer. But listen, I applied for my license. I got it. Dr. Bhatia applied for his license. And this is not like, simple things. This is in the US where, करने के लिए कुछ line किसी को, this is going to sound horrible, but किसी को बता नहीं सकते हैं, अरे यार ये कोई जानता हूँ कि ये नहीं चलता है. बहुत stringent होते हैं, especially Caribbean क्या Indian क्या कोई भी जो US से train नहीं होता है. And so far, भगवान की तरफ से कोई problem अभी तक से नहीं हुई, because at least the school, मुझे पता है जब भी कुछ document चाहिए, क्या मुझे कुछ submit करना है, school ठीक से करेगा, ठीक से भेजेगा, ठीक से लोग से बात करेंगे, and मेरा हो जाता है. So ये honestly कोई problem नहीं है so far मेरे. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask some about the Curacao. In the Google or we have heard somewhere that there is a crime rate is very high in this Curacao. So is it inflicting anything to the university itself or the students who are working over there, studying over there?
So at least मैं गया था आखिरी बार 2018 में, and when I went there, the students are in their own part of town. So there's 3 parts of the island. The part that's more criminally inclined or कुछ भी ऐसे देखो, आप दिल्ली में जाओगे क्या मुंबई में जाओगे, कई जगह अच्छा होता है, कई जगह खराब होता है, सच ये बात, right? Like anywhere you go, जहाँ पर स्कूल में है, at least स्कूल में वहाँ पर कुछ नहीं होता है, and it's in its own area. मतलब like स्कूल में जाने के लिए एक रोड होती है, and एक रोड निकलने के लिए होती है, and campus में full time security होता है, but honestly ये नहीं होता. लोग बहुत friendly थे, locals लोगों के साथ मेरे English are very multilingual. So कभी-कभी कोई Guyanese लोग भी होते हैं, आप Guyanese लोग जानते हैं, वो basically देसी होते हैं. हिंदी फिल्म को उनको और पता था कि मुझे क्या पता होता है. So there's good culture there, So at least I didn't have any issues. Again, and the ladkis that were in my class, they had no problems either. Honestly, I don't know if I was beti kya beta ja raha hai.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Pankaj Jadhav, he raised hand. Pankaj ji, please go ahead.
मैं आपको पूछना चाहता कि आप यूनिवर्सिटी का नाम क्या है? What is the name of university of your college?
Saint Martinus University, Faculty of Medicine.
And what is the name of college?
सर यूनिवर्सिटी ही है, कॉलेज नहीं है. ये सिस्टम ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके कॉलेज को एफिलिएशन चाहिए यूनिवर्सिटी का. This is university itself, okay, and you are going to study in university. Right.
Which city it is situated?
Williamstead.
Huh?
Williamstead, that is the capital of Curaçao.
Yeah.
सर ये बात हम बाद में करते हैं. अभी हमारे पास जो रेसिडेंट्स है उनको टाइम बहुत कम है. So
yeah, we got
आने के बाद सारी बात करेंगे. All right. Yes, sir, please.
Excuse me.
I think we have. Yeah, I'm still on the clock, and so is Dr. Bhatia. Took some time off, but he's going to come back to the hospital too. So I've got about 5 more minutes, and I don't know how much time do you got left? About 5 minutes too.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let's put down there.
Sir, Mr. Arun has come down. Mr. Arun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Arun, please ask the question.
Yeah. I just wanted to put a question. Generally, in overseas, everywhere in Western countries and all, the course is around minimum 6 years, like 5 years of course and 1 year of internship. How come you people are completing in 4.5 years?
So okay, so मैं आपको जल्दी से बताता हूँ. US में क्या, India क्या, that's not really India, it's a European or British system होता है ना. हमारे system में भी हमारे internship मतलब होता है जब भी तुम residency करने को लगते हो. So हमारा residency included नहीं होता है. हमारा 4 साल medical school होता है, फिर उसके बाद residency शुरू होती है और internship. हमारे जो clinicals होते हैं, it's not known as intern. So ये क्या कहते हैं, ये nomenclature थोड़ा सा difficult होता है, but but basically 4 साल शुरू होते हैं. So 2 साल क्लास में बैठता बच्चा सीखता है, कभी-कभी अस्पताल विजिट करता है, but वो full time नहीं होता अस्पताल में. Last 2 years जो होते हैं clinical years, that's fully in the अस्पताल में होते हैं. So वो अस्पताल में जाते हैं, patient को देखते हैं, procedures करते हैं, वो उनका full time होता है.
Means
So
the last 2
that's-
years they'll be spending in total hospital in Michigan.
Yes. Yeah. No, it depends. If आप चाहते हो and accept होता है for yes, but at least मुझे from my understanding पहले 6 months or first 8 months or the core rotations you're going to do in Michigan you do in Michigan, or I also believe they're going to allow students to go to Galesburg as well. Yeah, or Berwick as well. So you can choose. But I like Pontiac because यहाँ पे मैं residency कर रहा हूँ, so I'm more partial to Pontiac or Michigan. But Galesburg's nice too. I've seen it.
Dr. Nilesh, please go ahead. Dr. Nilesh Thorat.
Sir, good evening to everyone. I am Dr. Nilesh Thorat.
Sir, can you please
sir,
put on your video?
Yes. Yes, good evening. I am of 03 batch MBBS graduate. I am the alumni of GMC Nagpur, and I am taking a coaching classes in Akola. The thing is, I want to guide my student to go ahead with these type of programs because most of the student, they don't get success in qualifying the NEET, and after that they didn't get for the government MBBS colleges. So most of the time they will prefer to go for private colleges, and I think whatever program we are having, it is the best in class for getting their degree, primary degree and plus PG. Because for pursuing PG, it is very difficult in case of Indian scenario. And but the thing is, after completing the MBBS in India, we are having an internship program, and that internship program is paying stipend for that thing. So are you having whatever the 2.5 year course we are having, and after that we are sending the student for clinical rotation, whatever we are calling it at. So is there any stipend for that clinical rotations, and when the student will complete its actually I am having 2 questions. First question is is there any stipend for clinical rotation postings? Second one is, when the student will complete the USMLE 1 and he will join the rotations, after during the rotation he will give USMLE 2, but due to some reason, if he is not able to complete the USMLE 2 at that time, can he earn money? Is he is able to practice in whatever hospital there is and give the USMLE for second time?
So sorry, let me मैंने अभी long shift भी करी है, so मेरा दिमाग थोड़ा सा कम चल रहा है, but let me regurgitate. So आप हो एक आदमी जिसके पास एक कोई कंपनी है जो rotations करती है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा आप क्या करते हैं, आपका question समझ नहीं आया.
No, I will explain. See,
Yeah.
This is 4.5 year total your study period. All right. So after step 1 or during clinical rotation, students are not getting any stipend. Students will not get any stipend, but yes, during the residency they will get stipend.
While doing PG.
While doing PG, yes, residency is PG. While doing PG, they are getting stipend.
And that after completion of this USMLE 2.
Yeah.
Sir, his question was.
You don't get a stipend. Yeah, you don't get a stipend, guys. This is I'm gonna get rude now, but I apologize. देखो, ये stipend के बारे में, payment के बारे में, if ये आपका number 1 thing है, फिर आप दूसरा system में जाओ. This is not the system. हमारा system जो है US system है, जो US doctor बनने में, और if आप India जाना चाहोगे, ये 4 साल होते हैं. 2 साल clinicals, 2 साल pre-clinicals, 2 साल clinicals. Clinicals में, it's like if आप MBBS कर रहे हो and आप अस्पताल में जा रहे हो सीखने के लिए, आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते हो, आप स्टिल सीख रहे हो, आप डॉक्टर से पूछ रहे हो, सीनियर से पूछ रहे हो, सर मैं ठीक कर रहा हूँ, सर ये कुछ काम ठीक है, ये कर रहे हो, you're still a student, तुम डॉक्टर नहीं हो. जब भी स्टेप 2 के स्टेप 1 के बारे में देखो, सच से इवन जब मैं स्टेप 2 में कंप्लीट करा था, मैं डॉक्टर बनता, मैं डरता, Like there's no way. यहाँ पर US में इतने regulations tight होते हैं that residency के बाद residency शुरू हो गया, residency 4 साल मेडिकल स्कूल हो गया, फिर residency शुरू हो गया. Now depending आप कौन सा residency choose करोगे, surgery 5 साल होता है, family medicine 3 साल होता है, internal medicine 3 साल होता है, उसमें आपको पैसा मिलता है, स्टाइपेंड मिलता है residency के अंदर, but clinicals में नहीं मिलता है. And you know what? Thankfully, because if मुझे पेशेंट को खाली हाथ करना मैं नहीं कर पाता, so डॉक्टर को सब कुछ साइन ऑफ करना पड़ता है, because again आप स्टूडेंट हो. I don't know कितने लोग यहाँ पर actual practicing MBBS physicians हैं इंडिया में, but if आपको अकेले अस्पताल में, I remember because मेरे सीनियर MBBS थे, वो बताते थे कितना डरात होता था उनको अकेले होने अस्पताल में सब कुछ डिसीजन करने में. US में ऐसे नहीं होता. US में इतने रेगुलेशन होता है पेशेंट सेफ्टी के ना, पेशेंट के बारे में.
How about internship after completion of this thing, clinical rotation and all, 1 year internship?
There's no 1 year internship. So वो जो हमारी residency होती है ना, उसका पहला साल जो होता है उसको internship कहते हैं. अभी मैं अपनी internship कर रहा हूँ, पर वो 3 साल की residency है. उसमें मिलते हैं, पर वो एग्जाम क्लियर करने पड़ते हैं, then you get in.
I just wanted to clear my doubt. Is it recognized without internship?
No, you have to complete your internship after residency. Like it's your degree is recognized, but you have to get, after that you have to do your postgraduate degree, your internship.
Means after doing post-graduation, we get internship.
No. After you finish your medical degree, MD degree, then you get internship. Then you do internship. Internship means residency here. Internship and residency, postgraduate, they're the same thing here.
No, I'm asking about this thing. After doing our MD, after doing that, 1 year internship, it is there everywhere in the world.
सर अमेरिका सिस्टम में ये नहीं होता है. यहाँ पे इंडिया में जो होता है कि आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ योर MBBS you are going to the hospital for 1 year, that is called internship. ठीक है. अमेरिका में ये नहीं होता है. आपका बेसिक साइंसेस होने के बाद, USMLE स्टेप होने के बाद, then you have to go for the rotations. All right, rotations, during the rotation you will be in hospitals. Okay, so that is, you can consider as an internship. All right. But internship में जो सीखते नहीं, यहाँ पे rotations होते हैं, clinical rotations in all the departments. Student need to go and they need to do the observation and they need to assist to the seniors.
My question was
थोड़ा सा अलग है.
नहीं, ये without internship, is it valid? Like,
sir, it is valid. It is valid. All right.
Because round the globe, everywhere in the world, they keep the internship. I just wanted to clarify with regard to that only.
Yeah, so Joe, medical systems medical education in the world, as of my understanding, are 2 systems. There's the European system, which India follows, the European system, and then America, which follows its own system. You know, America हमेशा जितना मुश्किल काम करते हैं, they do it as difficult as possible. So unfortunately or fortunately, हमारा जो पहले साल होता है, so we finished 4 years of medical school, ये हो गया. हमारा पहला साल इंटर्नशिप होता है. नो मैटर आप क्या रेजिडेंसी कर रहे हो, क्या आप जनरल मेडिसिन कर रहे हो, क्या आप सर्जरी बन रहे हो, क्या आप साइकाइट्री कर रहे हो. द फर्स्ट ईयर इज कॉल्ड इंटर्नशिप. इट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक, मतलब हमारे जो कोर रोटेशन होते हैं, सो बेसिक मेडिसिन जो सारे डॉक्टर्स यूएस को बताएं, हार्ट अटैक क्या होता है, अस्पताल में मैनेज कैसे करते हैं, ये बेसिक चीज हमको एट अ हायर लेवल सिखाते हैं. फिर उसके बाद देन यू गो इनटू योर स्पेशलाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग, व्हाटएवर रेजिडेंसी यू गॉट इनटू. So for the first year, we like हमारे साथ Dr. Bhatia के साथ we have psych residents with us, because वो सीख रहे हैं अस्पताल के medicine, general medicine category. But then after the first year, वो खुद ही वो psych medicine में focus करेंगे, and हम लोग clinical medicine करेंगे, actual patient clinic में focus करेंगे. So ये difference होता है. And first year, after the 4 years of medical school, दो हमारे 2 प्रीक्लिनिकल and 2 क्लिनिकल के बाद हमको for payment मिलता है. So during internship, US internship, you get paid. You are paid money. We get a check every 2 weeks.
And how about clearing USMLE? Is it possible for these students they can clear it off?
We did it. PJ did it.
Yeah.
Sure, Dr. Sharma did it.
Yeah, Dr.
All my classmates did it. So
yeah, हमारे क्लास, मेरे क्लास में I think 100% first time and then 100. I mean, देखो सच बताता हूँ. If आप step 1 pass कर लोगे, step 2 में कोई मुश्किलात नहीं होनी चाहिए. Honestly, because step 1 is the most difficult one, and we did it. So I think कोई भी जिसको करना है कर पाएगा, जो पढ़ेगा. I mean, honestly.
Because generally USMLE, it is very tough subject to pass out
Yes,
this.
it is very tough. It is very
Yeah.
tough, but it's
But-
possible. It's possible. I mean,
So,
it's very depressing. It's very tough. It's very, very hard, but it just depends on the person. If you want to do it, you will get through it.
Do you coach in such a way that they clear it off?
Yes, the school does prepare you, but sir, it's mostly on the student, right? How much time he's gonna have to study 14 hours a day for 2 months, and then he'll clear the exam. Like it's not, you can't coach a person with medicine. They have to spend their own time and study for these exams.
so
So मैं एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. Like हमारा anatomy class होता था. So हम anatomy करते थे, फिर वो cadaver में body में जो काम करना था वो देते थे. But जब भी हमको anatomy सिखा रहे थे, of course हमको पूरा skull दिखाएंगे, पूरा brain सिखाएंगे, ये temporal lobe है, ये occipital lobe है. फिर वो कहेंगे, देखो, जो USMLE में they focus on this part of the brain. कि ये skull में ये questions पूछते हैं. Again, no one has the test. It's just statistically, ये high yield, low yield होता है ना. Like they like to ask about this. बताएंगे, but you're still going to learn anatomy in its entirety. And then I believe now they also offer a prep course here, and the 13 kids that took it, they all passed their step. So it must work. At least the prep course they offer.
Why am I putting all these questions? Miss, my two brothers, they are doctors in Australia. One is director, medical director, and one more is skin cancer surgeon in Melbourne. Both of them.
Okay.
They said that around the globe they have surveyed everywhere in the world. They told that internship is there everywhere in the world, because even his classmates, friends, they are in US. They are putting these questions only with regard to internship. Generally, what happens, a 5-year course and 1-year internship, most of the countries, European countries and all. So how come they complete in 4 years? He was doubting, my brother, the one who is the director in Melbourne. Both of them, they are the doctors.
Okay, so what you're saying, what your brothers or your family members were telling you were, from my understanding, is that there's a 5 versus 4 year, right? 5 versus 4. The 5, if you do the same math with our school of the internship year, we're also 5 year. There's no difference. But again, European they call internship the 5th year. We don't call the internship 5th year. When you get into residency, the first year of residency, it doesn't matter where you go to school, where you do residency, the first year is considered internship. So every medical education in the world is 5 years if you include that internship. But in the US system, we say 4. So much good. Yeah.
Is that mean ki you have to crack USMLE 2 to complete the residency? If by some reason, if someone fails to crack USMLE 2 after 4 years, he has completed USMLE 1, he have completed the clinical posting, and due to any damn reason he is not able to give USMLE 2, then what happened with that student?
I would ask 2 questions. आपको 2 questions पूछता हूँ. पहले चीज पूछता हूँ, वो क्यों करना चाहते हैं? Because USMLE Step 2 is a clinical medicine for the United States, right? So if आपको Step 2 clear नहीं कर पा रहे हो, is it because आपको जहाँ पर आप सीखे? Because हमारे साथ, I mean, at least, I don't know, Dr. Bhatti, do you have anybody in your system that couldn't do it? I know that no one in my class failed Step 2. We all passed Step 2 pretty easily.
So there's an NBME exam that's a practice exam. It's called the National Board of Medical Examiners exam. Well, you have to get 72% or 74%, it depends. If you get that score, you should pass the USMLE. Because we don't want our students to go take the USMLE and fail, because that looks bad on our school. So we have this NBME exam before, and the students have to get 72 or 74% on that exam. And if you get that 72 or 74, I mean, I don't know, unless you have like a heart attack while you're USMLE, you will pass if you get that 72 or 74.
Let me reframe my question. No, sir, I'm not asking that. Let me reframe the question. My question is, if if you are saying ki residency is your internship, you are
Yeah.
saying there is, okay, residency is your internship, then we get a degree of MBBS after completing the residency.
No, after completing the residency, you get your residency degree. So that means and then there's also a board certification exam. So that gives you a degree that you're trained in general surgery, that you're trained in this.
Okay, after 4 years, which type of degree? After 2.5 years of
I see where he's confused. I see where you're confused. Okay. So India में क्या होता है? If I'm correct, India में जब भी तुम MBBS degree करते हो, तुमको कुछ मिल जाता है, right? Like general medicine कर पाते हो, क्या during medical during हाँ, ये से US में नहीं चलता है. US में if आपने medical degree मिल गया, means nothing in the United States. In the United States, कहीं और जाओगे, they could do different system. Yeah. यहाँ पर to get a medical degree from St. Martinez, you must clear step 2. That is end of story. You get a medical degree. Uske साथ, the school will then certify you to apply for residency in the United States. समझ गए? Like जब भी मैंने step 2 clear कर लिया था, फिर then the school said, okay, we'll now apply for you. Because in the US, to even apply for residency, the schools have to do. And that's a really issue with a lot of Caribbean schools that I don't know what the problem, but I had a friend who he had to wait a couple of years because his school was just not helping him out. But
will it be easy for everyone to take residency after completion of this 4 years?
No, I won't lie to you and say yes. No. If they studied, if they did well on their step 1 and step 2, then yeah. देखो again, ये school आपको बस tools देगा, आपको सिखाएगा कैसे क्या पढ़ना, कब पढ़ना, कैसे पढ़ना. But if you rather not study and waste your parents' time and money, it's on the bacha. I'm not going to stop them. I'm not responsible for that. Not really. You have to want to. ऐसे मैं फिर से कह रहा था, if आपको doctor बनना है, I wanted to be a doctor. मुझे पता था मैं doctor बचपन से, I have to do this, and that's it. So that's all I did. And Dr. Bhatia did the same thing.
Would you mind taking my question now?
1 second. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question, I was just wondering what exactly happens after we take a USMLE?
Which one?
Second. After second.
Okay. After step 2, then you apply, depending on your scores, you can apply to different residency programs. There's ERAS, which is a national data bank system. So kya hota hai is you start basically applying to different programs in the United States. So if you want to do surgery, like someone said, dermatology, psychiatry, family medicine, internal medicine, you apply to it. And then you get ranked in the system. And then within that system, then they call you for an interview. And then after the interview, if their program director likes you, they accept you.
So do we get to choose our university according to our marks? Like there are many universities.
Yeah, you can listen. If you want to apply to Harvard for dermatology, spend $100. I'm not going to stop you, but you wasted your money. You see what I'm trying to say? You get X amount of free spot picks. So you're allowed to pick X amount of residencies that you want to apply for free. Then after that, you can pay to have as many as you want. I know people who paid like $2,000-$3,000 because they're just trying to shoot for everything, which is up to you. You can do what you want. But I applied to a few. I got my few interviews, and I chose what I chose.
Okay, and now I would like to jump on accreditations. As our university meets the accreditations which are required to be eligible to take USMLE examination.
Yes.
Yes, I wrote them. He wrote them. We're doing residency.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing residency.
Yeah, we're.
Excuse me.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
After suppose if it clears USMLE 2, after clearing the part 1, before that only after 4 years of this thing MD course, can we opt for 1 year internship?
Sir, there is see again there is some problem. See what happened now. The program is like 4.5 years for Indian student. 2.5 years they will just study basic sciences. All right, they will do the dissection and all. All right, they will study anatomy, everything, and they will prepare for USMLE step 1. After clearing the step 1, they are going for the clinical rotations. All right, you can consider this clinical rotation as internship because see, Indian system is different, US system is different. All right, so clinical rotation, after clinical rotation, students have to write their step 2. Once they clear step 2, then they are going directly for the residency for the masters. All right, if students are willing to come back to India after completion of 4.5 years, then they need to write FMG examination, foreign medical graduate examination, that is called next now, national exit test. And after that, they have to complete 1 year internship in India. They don't want to practice in US. All right, after 4.5 years. If students complete their residency in US, and if they are willing to come back to India, in that case, they don't need to complete any internship in India. Clear? Okay, yes, next question, please.
Yeah.
I think this is the last question. Dr. Bhatia can be in, and I've got one more because I'm sorry, I got to get back to the hospital, but I'm writing. But go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah. To be on the safer side and to get convinced wholeheartedly, can I get the list of all the accreditations that your university has passed?
Yeah, it is
Sure.
already given on the website and it is already given on our brochure. All right, so we'll share that definitely.
And I think for the USMLE, we need ECFMG accreditation. And I just a couple of days before I gone through the university web page, but I didn't see the ECFMG eligibility accreditation.
ECFMG accreditation is there, and our students are getting ECFMG ID. They are getting USMLE ID. All right, so there is no question of a ECFMG accreditation. All right, till 2024, there is a university accredited. After that, we have to look for the renewal and we'll get it. All right, no problem.
Sure, thank you.
In the US, if
You can also check that.
you can just
You
get it
can
online.
also.
You can just look it all up, man. Like we are, the fact that we are MDs in residency in the United States means that सब कुछ है. मुझे पता है थोड़े से मुश्किल होती है. मुझे जो schools जो Caribbean schools कुछ बताते कुछ नहीं बताते. मुझे पता है चाइना में कुछ बताते नहीं बताते हैं. देखो, मैं आयरलैंड में 2 साल था. मैंने 2 साल यहाँ पर US में क्लिनिकल्स करा, and मैं अब मेडिसिन प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में. डॉक्टर भाटिया ने पास सेम एग्जैक्ट सिचुएशन है. In order for us to do this, मतलब हमको करने के लिए हमको ECFMG ने सर्टिफाई करना पड़ा, the state of Michigan and the United States. So सारे जो legal bodies हैं करने के लिए had to say yes to us, and there was no issue with me, and I don't think with Dr. Bhatia either.
Yeah, glad to know. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
Yeah.
Anything? I got one more left. I have one more left for me. Anybody else? One more question? Sorry, guys. But you know what I'll do is I'll leave my cell phone number, my US number, and I will please, if you call me, I will never answer. I promise you. But if you text me, I will be available to text back. But please, मुझे 1-2 दिन देना वापस करने के लिए. कि मैं ड्यूटी में हूँ, मैं फोन नहीं देखता हूँ. So please, मुझे थोड़ा सा टाइम देना वापस करने के लिए, text करने के लिए. And so anybody, किसी पास एक question है that hasn't been answered yet?
Yeah, I think all the questions are answered. And yes, thank you, Dr. Sharma and Dr. Paul, for being with us and answering all the questions. I know your schedule is very busy, and from that busy schedule, you just given time to us and just answer all the questions very patiently. You listen our questions. Thank you very much once again. And yes, we need your support in future as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Listen, for me and for Dr. Bhatia too, जैसे जितना अच्छा हमारे बच्चे करेंगे जो स्कूल से आएंगे, उतना हमारा भी रेपुटेशन और अच्छा होगा ना. लोग पूछेंगे तुम कौन से स्कूल से हो, कौन से स्कूल से ग्रेजुएट करा, हमने कहीं से मार्केट कहेंगे हाँ, ओ ये बच्चों को आता है, ये अच्छे बच्चे निकलते हैं स्कूल से. And second thing is देखो हम भी कर रहे हैं, हम भी देश, I mean डॉक्टर भाटिया भी, हम भी देसी हैं, so हम भी चाहते हैं जो हमारे लोग हमारे देश से आते हैं वो भी अच्छे से करें. So आप कभी यहाँ पर एटलीस्ट यूएस में मिशिगन में आओगे, मेरे साथ यहाँ पर पढ़ोगे, अकेले कभी नहीं होगे. सच बात है. यहाँ पर अच्छी देसी कम्युनिटी भी है, बच्चों को दाल चावल मिलता है, सब्जी मिलती है, ये फिक्र मत करना. आयरलैंड में भी दाल चावल मिलता है, सब्जी मिलती है, तो देसी खाना मिलता रहेगा, ये कोई टेंशन नहीं है. पूजा भी करना है, फिर दिवाली भी करते हैं, फिर होली भी करते हैं. एंड यहाँ पर इफ आप मुसलमान भी हो राउंड भी करते हैं, ये कोई टेंशन नहीं है. सो इफ आप सिख भी हो कोई करते हैं. सो कोई भी टेंशन होती है ये फिक्र मत करना. बट आई विल गो अहेड एंड लीव माय ईमेल एंड कभी कुछ मैसेज करना है एंड प्लीज गिव मी अ डे और टू, मैं वापस करता हूँ मैसेज. So
all right, thanks a lot, and yes, Dr. Paul and Dr. Sharma, if you are having any work, yes, you can leave now. And for other participant, if you have any question, you can ask me later on, no problem. All right,
Okay,
you can
thank
stay
you.
for
Bye.
15 minutes. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स, आपके जो भी क्वेश्चंस हैं, हमारे साथ कामेंद्र सर जुड़े हुए हैं, आप पूछ सकते हो
सर.
वन बाय वन अगेन.
मैंने एक मैसेज ड्रॉप किया था सर, फीस स्ट्रक्चर के हिसाब से, मतलब एवरीथिंग अबाउट द फीस.
हाँ सर, मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ आपको. फीस स्ट्रक्चर इज वेरी क्लियर. इसमें ये है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो स्टूडेंट का एप्लीकेशन फी होता है, दैट इज $125 स्टूडेंट नीड टू पे टू द यूनिवर्सिटी. सेकंड जो होता है उसका इंटरव्यू होता है विद द डीन, एंड देन वंस ही एक्सेप्टेड फॉर द प्रोग्राम, देन ही विल गेट ऑफर लेटर. After receiving offer letter, student need to pay first installment of the first year fee, that is about $9,000 something, now $9,400. All right, and after 45 days, student need to pay the next installment, that is about $6,800. So ये first year का fees हो गया. All right, then second year student need to pay about $13,100. All right, I don't know the exact figure, but it is mentioned on our fee structure. Again, third year and fourth year. All right, ये 4 साल ही हमें पे करना है, even though the program duration is 4.5 years. वो 6 महीने का फीस एक्स्ट्रा नहीं भरना है. All right, yeah, as long as the living cost is concerned, yes, 4650 is the living cost including 2 meals. All right, वो स्टूडेंट को every year भरना है, and for next 6 month वो living cost उसको bear करना है. All right, for next 6 month जो 2.5 साल रहेंगे, उसमें से ये 6 महीने का लिविंग कॉस्ट उसको पे करना है. All right, and whenever he go to the USA, तो US में वो स्टूडेंट को जो अकोमोडेशन है, हाउसिंग हॉस्पिटल के अंदर भी है, वो भी ले सकता है. दैट इज अबाउट $350 पर मंथ. और बाहर अगर लेगा तो दैट विल कॉस्ट हिम अबाउट 250 to 300. ठीक है, लेकिन ट्रैवलिंग का खर्चा बढ़ जाएगा उसका. सेकंड थिंग जो है कि आपको क्या क्या और एक्सपेंसेस है, तो स्टूडेंट को एवरी ईयर इंश्योरेंस लेना पड़ता है गुरासाओ में, एंड दैट इज अबाउट 48-50,000 समथिंग. वो एक हमारे फी स्ट्रक्चर में ही लिखा है. वो इमिग्रेशन का फी होता है. डॉक्यूमेंट अपोस्टल करने पड़ते हैं एक्सटर्नल अफेयर मिनिस्ट्री से, वो एक एक्सपेंसेस है. उसके बाद NBME स्टूडेंट को लेनी है, एंड फॉर NBME there is a fee of $160. $160 मतलब 10-11 हजार रुपया फीस होता है NBME का. NBME for safer side it's always good. NBME अगर कोई बच्चा पास कर लेता है तो USMLE in first attempt they will clear it. Alright, और USMLE की जो फी है it is about $900. USMLE step 1, step 2, step 3. ठीक है, तो $900 पर स्टेप आपको पे करना है. ये जो एडिशनल एक्स्ट्रा एग्जाम के पैसे जो है वो फीस में इंक्लूडेड नहीं है. सेकंड थिंग है एयर फेयर. सो एयर फेयर भी इसमें इंक्लूडेड नहीं है. बच्चा साल में 2 बार चाहे तो आ सकता है, अगर नहीं आना चाहता है तो पूरे 2.5 साल आइलैंड पे रह सकता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है उसमें. और एक बार का आने जाने का टिकट जो होता है दैट इज अबाउट 1 लाख रुपीज. ऑलराइट, तो इसमें हमारी जो फीस स्ट्रक्चर है उसमें ये फ्लाइट टिकट वगैरह नहीं है, वो कोई भी यूनिवर्सिटी के फीस स्ट्रक्चर में नहीं रहता है. सेकेंडली, स्टूडेंट्स आर गेटिंग 2 months ऑफ. वन इज जनवरी कंप्लीट ऑफ, और सेकेंड इज जुलाई, दैट इज जून कंप्लीट, सॉरी जुलाई कंप्लीट ऑफ. ठीक है, तो ये 2 साल स्टूडेंट 2 महीना स्टूडेंट को मिलता है साल में. और इसके अलावा और कोई खर्चा नहीं है. यूनिवर्सिटी के पास सेटल बस है. Every Friday bus is coming to the campus. स्टूडेंट को शॉपिंग मॉल में लेके जाते हैं. जिनको जो भी शॉपिंग करना है ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए या डिटर्जेंट, व्हाटएवर दे वांट टू बाय, सो दे कैन बाय. ऑलराइट, और वापस ड्रॉप कर देती है. वैसे कुछ कैब्स भी है, अगर स्टूडेंट बाहर जाना चाहे जा सकते हैं. यस, कुछ फेस्टिवल्स होते हैं जैसे कि क्रिसमस नाइट एंड ऑल, तो तभी यूनिवर्सिटी बस वगैरह करके बच्चों को लेके जा सकती है। बच्चों के लिए रात को 8 बजे से बाहर जाना और बाहर से अंदर आना मना है। इफ देयर इज एनी पार्टी, बर्थडे सेलिब्रेशन, समथिंग, यूनिवर्सिटी को पेरेंट्स को स्पेशल परमिशन के लिए ईमेल लिखना है। उसके बाद यूनिवर्सिटी विल कंफर्म, दे विल कॉल यू इफ यू हैव गिवन दिस परमिशन टू योर चाइल्ड, और उसके बाद ही बच्चों को अलाउ करते हैं कि यस आप 10 बजे 11 बजे आ सकते हो। अदरवाइज इफ स्टूडेंट आर पेरेंट्स आर नॉट परमिटिंग, यूनिवर्सिटी विल नॉट अलाउ स्टूडेंट टू गो आउटसाइड आफ्टर 8 o'clock। ठीक है, तो सेफ्टी के बारे में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। अभी तक कोई भी बैड इंसिडेंट नहीं हुआ है हमारे कैंपस में या हमारे स्टूडेंट के साथ। काफी सारे गर्ल्स स्टूडेंट भी है, बॉयज स्टूडेंट भी है, सो देयर इज नो एनी इशू। सो आई थिंक फी स्ट्रक्चर आई क्लियर। और कुछ सर आपको पूछना है?
सर एक क्वेश्चन क्वेरी रह गई इसके अंदर। You told me that कि 4650 is a residential fee per year, 4.5 years. But in this 4.5 years, we are giving a clinical rotation.
Sir, I told you 4650 per year.
4650 per year.
Yeah.
But out of these 2 years, the student is spending in US for their, he again has to pay 350 per month for
नहीं नहीं सर, ये जो फीस है ना 4650, as long as he stay on island in the campus, तभी तक 2.5 साल के लिए भरना है। जब वो नहीं रहता है, whenever he is going to the US, then he don't need to pay this accommodation cost to the university. Okay? उसके बदले में उसको जो यूएस में रहेगा, ऑन हाउसिंग में रहेगा, तो 350 पर मंथ है, मतलब वो भी उतना ही हो जाता है। और अगर ऑफ कैंपस रहता है तो उससे सस्ता हो जाता है। और तभी तक बच्चे बड़े हो जाते हैं 2-2.5 साल 12वीं के बाद, सो दे कैन स्टे आउट ऑफ कैंपस एज वेल। देयर इज नो रेस्ट्रिक्शन दैट दे नीड टू रिसाइड इनसाइड द कैंपस। यस, एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
सौम्या, गो अहेड।
यूएस सिटीजन्स हैं, उनके फीस स्ट्रक्चर में कितना डिफरेंस आता है?
Sorry?
For the US citizens who are not Indian citizens, what about their fee structure?
Yeah, their fee structure is 88,800, which is given on the university website.
Okay.
All right. But if the parents are Indian citizen and student is having US passport, in that case, yes, we can consider that case with the Indian fee structure.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Any other question?
Sir, how many students you accommodate for 1 year? Students capacity?
Every year 60 students, sir.
60.
Yeah.
And what is the curriculum, sir? Means how the procedure is going on? Means you are having any eligibility test or something like that in India?
Sir, interview. We conduct interview and we conduct scholarship test for the student.
And what is the date of this Miss last date admissions?
Yeah, sir, there are 2 intakes basically. One intake will start 4th of August. Please unmute yourself. Yeah, so 4th of August, and because of this COVID and this, like say, what we can say, NEET test, all right. So we just rescheduled that intake and we started our classes in the month of September. Okay, and now the next intake will start 4th of February. But yes, because of the request of few of the parents, yes, we are going to start another batch in the month of October, 15th of October. Hello? Clear? And one more thing, somebody asked before, like, what are the chances of clearing USMLE? So if you compare the result of the USMLE and if you compare that with FMG, Foreign Medical Graduate Test, Foreign Medical Graduate Test ka jo result hai, that is 15 to 19%, maximum is 19%. And if you check the USMLE that is available on their site, USMLE result is 96%. टेस्ट बड़ी खराब होती है, बहुत हार्ड होती है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट होती है, लेकिन उसका प्रिपरेशन इफ वी प्रिपेयर इट लाइक से इन ट्रू मैनर, सही ढंग से अगर प्रिपेयर करते बच्चे तो दे कैन पास, और 100% result is there of St. Martin's University. Yes, any other question?
When will be the scholarship test held for 15th October admissions?
Yeah, scholarship test will conduct most probably
On 12th.
before 12th, yeah, before a couple of days of the batch start date.
Okay, so how do I apply for that?
You don't need to apply, you need to apply for the admissions. Once you get admission later, then you are eligible to write the test.
Okay.
Is the scholarship test a computer-based test?
It is, sir, online. All right. So it is based on, like, say, basically total need syllabus, 60 marks, 60 minutes. All right. And if you score 90% in this test out of 60, then you will get 13,000 scholarship, and which is adjustable in the last year's fee.
Pardon, did you just say 13,000 or 13 lakhs?
$13,000.
Okay. And do we have to reach some test center for that, or?
No. You can write from your home.
Okay.
It's online.
Yeah. Excuse me, Kamendra sir.
Yes, sir.
You told that after completion of 4.5 years in US, if you want to come back to India and practice, you have to take this exit exam and 1 year internship in India.
Yeah.
Who will give us like an internship, 1 year internship in India?
You have to go to the hospital. You have to search the hospital. All right. And you have to find it. Because see, this is compulsory for all the countries. Even students are doing from any of the country, they need to pass this exit test, and after that 1 year they need to complete their internship in Indian hospital. Unless and until they get to complete this internship, they will not get registration as a doctor.
Suppose if you want to complete in US?
Sir, in US there is no internship. I told you it is not mandatory. See, here clinical rotations you are completing after 2.5 years, clinical rotation. All right. So completely 74 weeks you will be in hospital. So that is more than internship. So internship is not required in the US curriculum. After that, you can go for directly for the masters. For masters, you need to apply to different teaching hospitals. And then once you crack the interview, you can get residency.
How about the chances of getting masters?
100%, sir. If student is good enough and if he is hard worker.
Okay. If the student is a medium, like.
Sir, see, if student cracking step 1 and step 2, all right, then there are 100% chances of getting residency, because see, I will tell you the statistic. There are total 35,000 seats for the residency.
Yeah.
And the US pass student are only 18,000. जो student US में MD करते हैं वो 18,000 है, only 18,000. So rest of the seats for the foreign medical graduate. ठीक है? So there are better chances, means 99% students they are getting residency. And in India, if you compare, only 10% students are getting masters. All right, 130,000 students, they write exam PG NEET every year, and there are 13,000 seats for the masters. So only 10% chances of getting masters in India, whereas in US, 99% chances of getting residency.
In masters?
Yes, sir. Yes, any other question, please?
Yeah, so I was wondering about the scholarship while we are undergoing the MD program. So what is the case there of the scholarship?
What is?
The case of scholarship while we are going under the MD program, the 4-year MD program. Do we get any scholarship while doing our MD?
Yeah, for MD only there is a test, scholarship test. All right.
After
so
that,
if you write the scholarship, then you are eligible for the 13,000 scholarship if you are scoring 90% plus. or if you score less, then it depends on university, how many students are there and how much funding is available. Okay. Secondly, whenever you complete your MD, and if you are the SGA student, like you are just participating in all the programs and all, okay, and if you score 235 in your USMLE step 1, then there is a scholarship you can get. And if you score 250, in that case, you can get scholarship of 8,000. So there are different scholarships. So it depends on your caliber, your talent, and how academically you perform. Okay. So altogether, I think about 23,000 you can get out of 55,600.
So I have a question.
Yes, please put on your video.
काही त्रास नसता तर एका महिन्यात त्रास असला तर 5 दिवसात.
Sorry, sir, I have a camera issue.
Okay,
So
no problem. Yes, go ahead.
The question is, you mentioned curriculum will start from 15th of October 2021.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned something about 4th February. So
Yes.
I am having a confusion, like, is it my choice to opt for 15 October wala curriculum, or I can opt for 4 February also?
Actually, see, if you don't want to waste your time, then go for this October curriculum, because see, MD 0, that is for Indian students, and very basic subjects are there. So I think 2 to 2.5 months are more than enough to cover that. Okay, so I don't think there is any problem.
Okay, so that means I have a choice for opting it whether for 15
Yes.
October or
Yes,
4th
yes,
February.
yes, yes. There is a choice. If you are willing to go for the next session, then yes, you can. No problem.
Okay, so thank you.
Welcome. Yes, any other question, please? Pandey sir, I think we covered all the questions, and now with the permission of everybody, you can just end this session, or anybody is having question, you can share your email address and contact number so that they can ask you the questions.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
thank
Kamendra.
you,
I
sir.
just
Thank
wanted
you.
to
Thank
ask
you
some
very
more
much.
questions in person, like.
Yes, sir. No problem. No problem.
Please leave your phone number and all. I'll just call you.
No problem. No problem. Yeah. I will
Generally,
share
when will you be available?
Sorry?
Generally, what time you will be available to talk?
Sir, what you need to do, just WhatsApp me. All right. So accordingly, I will give you the time, and then we can have one-to-one. All right.
Okay. I'll take your number from Guru.
Yes, please, please, please. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think we can conclude now. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. So with all your permission, I'm going to end this session. And if you're having any question, you can contact us. Thanks a lot.
Good night, sir. Good night.